Okay, listen to that. I don't want to scare you, but you are technically a computer. You are programmed with thoughts, processes, and experiences, and that may be the reason you're either loving life or hating life. I'll go right to my favorite topic, music, and we'll discuss that. When you're listening to music, me personally, I like an alarm, and how I start the day is when that alarm goes off, it'll play my favorite song, whether that's like Frank Ocean, Solo, something like that. It gets me excited. But that is programming my brain to feel what that artist is feeling. Depending on the music that you're listening to, you're probably experiencing life in a different way. You're probably feeling different ways, whether it's aggressive music, whether it's love music, or isolation music, depressing stuff. I don't really know which one you're on, but I just want you to be aware that music is programming. So right now, the rap industry, I love my hip hop. I love my music. Big Kendrick Lamar fan. When you're tied too heavily onto negative music, that's all you're going to output. That's going to be your default mode, right? That's what you're going to output. Whatever you input into your brain, you're going to output. So if you're thinking of like that hood life, that thug life, that drug dealer game, which a lot of them aren't even in, they just kind of do what the record label wants them to do. That's what you're going to output. And if that's not the life you want, then just be careful of the music you're putting inside yourself, because you will have like this energy and you will carry yourself a different way depending on what you're listening to. So just be aware that is a way of programming. It is kind of like your input, then you get subconsciously programmed, and then you output that type of attitude. My next programming would be like, for me, I love my Bible. So when I'm inputting those books and everything, that's kind of what I'm expected to output. The more I meditate on the word and believe in what I'm diving in on, that's what I'll produce for the world. That being said, when you do stuff like that doesn't really make you smarter, or like, when you're just turning your brain off and you're watching Netflix and everything, or the news, or like just like a show like Young Sheldon or whatever, that's it. That's your thought process. That's gonna be your default mode. And I'm not crapping on people that turn their brain off, but it's also why you would get stuck in life, right? Like, how could I give you $1 million or trust you to make smart moves when you're not studying those things, your mind's not on it, and you're just focused on other distractions that a producer would make? I tell everyone to create stuff because that's your expression to the world. That's you kind of leaving a mark. Even creating a kid is kind of like you're leaving your mark. You're creating something for the world to experience. So don't limit yourself to what you can achieve. Like, there were times where we would go to the library, and whatever you're interested, you would see the book and you kind of sit down and pick it up, start reading some material. And then if you have a cool community of people, you can even they don't have to fully be invested as you are, but if they are open enough to listen to what you're talking about, that's good peoples to keep around. That's some good homie attitude that you want to keep around. Not people that are like, yo, when you're with people and you're reading a book and they're like, yo, why you reading? You think you're better than us? Yada, yada, yada. You have the right in that moment to be like, well, yeah, because I'm growing, right? But what you input is what you output. If you're a heavy basketball person or sports or football, if you're diving in on the analytics and this player's stats, that, and that, that's what you're most likely going to have on your brain. And I ain't gonna say nothing, but I don't be watching men that heavily because I got my own life to live. But if that's your specialty and your forte, then that's what you're going to gravitate towards and what you're going to talk about all day. And I don't know, the key for a happy marriage, hopefully you talk about something your wife likes too. I don't understand how people get married and they don't even talk to each other anymore, or not interested in what their partner wants to do. So just keep stuff like that in mind, be aware of the material you're inputting, even if at work. Like, what field are you in? Like, if you want to get better at your field, go into that, learn more about it, and then it's not so much in Canada where you'll be rewarded for like good work. It's you're kind of capped off. I feel like America is the place to go if you want to meet somebody that's going to see your gifts and want to take you further. But don't cut yourself short by not learning what field you're in and adding stuff to your tool bag, so when you do want to make a move, you have that arsenal and be equipped to, like, oh yeah, I can do that. But I'm saying all this to say you are a computer. You are what you input is what you output. Depending on your software, you can keep it holy or you can keep it chaotic, and it's just messy when you're cluttered with all your files all over the place. Like, say a computer, and you're just like, and your recycle bin hasn't been emptied from stuff way in the past. You haven't cleared your cache. You're just boggled down, and you're gonna run slow. You're gonna have a hard time processing new information. Whereas if you keep your system clean, you keep your programs, keep your favorites right at the top, you'll load quick. When you keep your tabs low, you don't have too many things going on. I do believe in focusing on one thing. Multitasking to me is a myth, because you don't really produce anything. You gotta close your tabs that you're not using anymore. Put that stuff to rest. You're so focused on past content and software that's not even updating anymore. Think of the iPhones that don't update anymore. What happens? They just slow as heck, and they do it purposely. You gotta stay up to date. I love you guys. I'll keep this one short. Thank you if you made it this far. But we are a computer. Really believe that you are a computer and you can program yourself depending on what you want. And just be aware, specifically for this video, the music you're inputting. Because music has heavy influence on the brain. If you don't like music, I don't know what to say right there, because it does move people. Even worship music moves people. Rock music, everything like makes you kind of subconsciously do things differently. So just be aware of that. Don't dumb your brain down by listening to too much music. It's good to meditate, turn everything off, and just connect with everything around you and really be that high performance computer that you could be. So if you ain't a Mac or that high performance Windows right now, that nice Ubuntu material, clear your software, really audit what's going into your system, clear out all that junk that you don't need anymore, and let's perform highly together. This is Nathan Edwards, your host of Ego Energy Getting Organized. You are a computer. We can program yourselves. All right, love ya.